Naoki Urasawa, the legendary mangaka, announced that he is starting up yet another series in August, serializing it alongside Asadora, that being the Final Manga Classroom. After thinking about what we know so far, I wanted to discuss what I personally expect from the series. The tagline of this upcoming manga is, "In an era where AI does everything, what is Urasawa doing?" Based on the vague details of what's been advertised thus far, it seems that this story is set in a world wherein AI has progressed to a point that traditional hand-drawn art is nowhere near as common as it once was. As the title of the story is The Final Manga Classroom, I would presume that it's exactly as is described, about the literal final manga classroom in an AI-driven world that has moved on from the hard work associated with manual illustrations. And I expect that it'll explore similar themes as the likes of Billy Bat and Mujirushi, with a resounding focus on the power of art, the power of human-made art. I expect to see a story about the meaning of creativity. Now, because of the subject matter, it's pretty interesting to look at it in the context of Urasawa's wider bibliography and his career. After all, Urasawa made the Manban documentary series, wherein he has showcased the creative processes of so many different mangaka. And in addition to that, he has been a lecturer for manga classes in universities throughout his life, so it's incredibly fitting for him of all people to write up a story of this kind. He has quite literally taught the art of making manga, and yet again, that is exactly what he's doing with this upcoming manga. Conversely, the AI-related focus is also fascinating for similar reasons. Urasawa wrote Pluto, a story with a tremendously heavy emphasis on AI, albeit a very different kind of AI. It depicts robots as no less human than humans, their art as no less valid, and their music as no less legitimate. Case in point, look at the story of North No. 2 and Paul Duncan from Volume 1. Even outside of Pluto, a lot of Urasawa's other manga are heavily inspired by Astro Boy, Phoenix, and other Tezuka stories, oftentimes with a heavy emphasis on AI or artificial existences of some sort. But this was far more done as an allegory to racism and xenophobia, delivering a humanist and pacifist message, praying for a day where all this pointless conflict between people comes to an end. And given that the Final Manga Classroom would be specifically in a world with generative AI, it would almost certainly explore AI from a completely different lens than how he'd done in the likes of Pluto. And I'm curious to see how exactly he goes about depicting that. In terms of tone, I might expect something perhaps a little bit lighter and more comedic at times, but still with profound commentary beneath it all. Some of Urasawa's short stories have been way more focused on comedy, some even outright absurdist, like his debut one-shot, Beta. But at least from the character design sketch we've seen advertised, my expectation is a story with a fairly significant focus on humor. It doesn't feel like the kind of design we'd get out of one of Urasawa's darker mystery series. The vibes I get from the series are like that of Mujirushi, which had both absurd character designs and humorous points, but a lot of very serious moments and profound commentary as well. Speaking of Mujirushi, that is also why I personally expect that the Final Manga Classroom will be a shorter serialization, perhaps only a volume or two long. I do not expect it to be at the scale of his longer-running works. Honestly, because of the sheer scope of something like Asadora, and him deciding on adding yet another series to his already extensive bibliography, I would be surprised if the Final Manga Classroom is a long-running serialization. Otherwise, I'm not sure we'd ever get to see the end of either it or Asadora in Urasawa's lifetime. I'm just astounded that at this stage of his career, Urasawa would even opt to start a second manga alongside Asadora in the first place. And now, it is true that for most of Urasawa's career, he was serializing 2 mangas simultaneously. He drew a total of 6 manga chapters every month, and that was already crazy enough for him to be doing in his young days, when he was working on the likes of Monster and 20th Century Boys simultaneously. But he hasn't replicated something to that scale since his Billy Bat days, and he's not exactly young anymore. He's 66 and has had a number of health problems over the last several years. This is a large part of why Asadora's release has slowed down so drastically compared to earlier works in his career. Even back when Urasawa was working on 20th Century Boys and Pluto, he almost retired due to injury. As it stands now, Asadora has gotten to the point of releasing less than 1 volume's worth of content per year, Last year marked the first time since the manga started serializing that Asadora hadn't had a single volume released. We'll most likely get volume 10 within the next short while, as he finished the manuscripts for the last 2 chapters of the volume at the beginning of April. But we'll see whenever those drop. Either way, we're a very long way off from seeing the conclusion of the series. Whatever the case may be with the length, scale, and scope, as well as the tone of the upcoming manga, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how it shapes up. I know I'm quite late to covering this topic, but I was at a conference when the news broke out, and since then I just had non-stop travel and so many work-related responsibilities to take care of. But in turn, that time has given me the opportunity to also reflect upon my expectations for the Final Manga Classroom. Apologies for the delay with the video, but here we are. I'll be sure to review the manga whenever it releases in English. Until next time everyone, Bossman out.